Karen Brooks is a champion fly fisher. Introduced by fly fishing 30 years ago, Karen's been absorbed by the pristine or pastime ever since. She's been involved in competition fly fishing since 2016. She's represented Australia in Masters, 2 Commonwealth, 3 World Ladies Fly Fishing Championships. Most recent was held in Czech Republic this year, where the team finished with a bronze. Karen's also a certified casting instructor, a part owner, manager and guide at Driftwater. Please welcome Karen to the stage.
Yep, that's good. Can everyone hear me? Yes. I do have a soft voice, so I'm going to have to concentrate on speaking loudly, or I know my husband Peter's going to yell out at me. But thanks for the great introduction. It sort of really seems more than what I'm worthy of, but anyway. So, hang on. You'll have to bear with me too, because I have to read through my notes in parts, because otherwise I'll lose my place. So I'd like to talk to you today about the growth and acceptance of women in freshwater fly fishing and how we can keep that momentum flowing. We have records... Oh, hang on. There we go. So we have records in Australia of women emerging as highly capable fly fishers from the 1930s onwards in Victoria, Tasmania and New South Wales. Women were out fishing on their own and with their husbands. In 1988, David Scholes, in his book, Ripples, Runs and Rises, refers to a day on the Liffey with his wife Pat by saying, "She fished like a champion, doing twice as well as I." She was remembered for her ability to cast a mean line. I see many parallels for the growth of women in fly fishing in Australia with my own journey of fly fishing over the past 30 years. When I began my journey fishing the rivers and streams of northeast Victoria, it was rare to come across another female on the water. In fact, I don't remember it ever happening. There were obviously women out there fishing, but the numbers were pretty small. It was impossible to buy women's waders and boots in Australia. All small men's were the closest, which would be large enough to fit 2 of me into. And they'd concertina around my knees and wear out. And anyway, I would have to order them online from the US, which was not an easy thing. So in 2010, Peter and I fly fished in America, and what I experienced there opened my eyes to what was possible. I was inspired to see so many women out on the water, on their own, in groups, or with their partners, and also women working in the fly fishing industry. There were female guides, females who owned and managed fly shops and outfitters, and casting instructors, and even commercial fly tyres. While we were in America, a seed was sown for us to start our guiding business in Tasmania, Driftwater. Because guiding was such a male-dominated field and there really weren't any women at that point in time guiding in Australia, I really felt that I needed to arm myself with the skills to be able to do that and to feel confident when I was out there on the water. So I did a guiding course in Montana, which was beneficial. And then I also discovered the Fly Fishers International. Fly Fishers International is a group based in America, and they run casting programs aimed at increasing instructor knowledge, casting proficiency and teaching ability, and also to create a common understanding of casting terminology and casting mechanics throughout the world. When I returned to Australia, I attended a casting workshop with Peter Hayes, a master casting instructor in Tasmania, where I began my journey to become an instructor. At the workshop, I met Judith Oliver, who in 2014 went on to become the first female in Australia to become a certified casting instructor. I followed in 2015 as the second, and today there are at least 10 female certified casting instructors in Australia, which is huge. It's enormous. So preparation to become a certified casting instructor is quite intense, with many hours of practice before undertaking an exam in either here or in the US. And I'm sure I can speak for all of the females who are qualified in Australia to say that the support and encouragement that we receive from the male community is enormous. In particular, I must mention Bob Young, who is a master casting instructor based in Victoria. Bob has mentored and given his time freely to at least 70% of the now female casting instructors. As a registered female guide, the certified casting instructor was really important for me, really to have those credentials behind me when I went into the male-dominated profession. But as a guide, I've found that I've been very, very well accepted by other guides in the industry and by also the men that would come to our lodge, the men, our clients, and then other men that we'd meet on the water. There was always that support and encouragement for being a female stepping into that industry, which is fantastic. Over the past 10 years or so, women in Australia have emerged as inspirational leaders. Val Young, who's wife of Bob Young, who I just mentioned, has organised a women's annual group who fish at Millbrook Lakes. And this has been running now for more than, I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's like in the 20 years. It's 25, yeah, it's huge, it's fantastic. Val was also instrumental in developing Girls Gone Fly Fishing with Peter Hayes at Cressy. Girls Gone Fly Fishing had held an annual weekend get-together, which involved instruction and fishing, and a Facebook group of several hundred women, which continued for 10 or more years. What an amazing couple they are. Their contribution to women, the growth of women in fly fishing has been amazing. Another inspirational woman in Australia is Anna Billette, who organises and runs the Great Lake Tie-In, continuing a legacy for Graham Blight. The Great Lake Tie-In is an annual fly tying event held in Maina in the Tasmanian Highlands, where all the top fly tyers from Tasmania and interstate show their skills. We have women in Australia now in fly fishing retail. Jules Stevens at Essential Fly in Tasmania, Jo Dobson at Aussie Angler, Cherie Forbes at BWC. We now have we have access to a range of women-specific waders, boots and fly fishing apparel, and we see plenty of women out on the water. There are many fly fishing articles written by women and about women in magazines and fishing club newsletters. There was an article written about me in a local sort of community lifestyle magazine on the Mornington Peninsula, a free publication that you can pick up at cafes and things and supermarkets. The article generated a huge response with lots of people contacting me, but also I think getting out to a community of people that are not fly fishers, trying to spread the word, I suppose, to non-fly fishers about the passion that we have for our sport. There have been films made in Australia by women and about women. There's The Belt Buckle by Elsa Caruso, which featured at the 23 Rise Film Festival. There was a feature about women in fly fishing on ABC Landline in 2018, as well as numerous clips on ABC Online News, interviews on ABC Radio and mentions on ABC Morning Breakfast within a Women in Sport feature. So the word is getting out, but yeah, there are many blogs and online presence, and there's the great work that WRFAB are doing too. Today I see couples out on the rivers and lakes fishing together. It's not uncommon to see 2 or 3 boats with couples fishing together on Little Pine in Tasmania, or to bump into other couples on the rivers. I know many people who fish regularly with their husbands or wives. Many of my clients at Driftwaters were couples wanting to learn or advance their fishing skills enough to get out on the water together. What an amazing pastime to spend together. I would also like to touch on competition fly fishing. In 2016, I was introduced to competition fly fishing by Glenn Eggleton, a member of Fly Fish Australia, which is the peak body for competition fly fishing in Australia. Glenn had recently returned from the Commonwealth Fly Fishing Championships in Canada, where Australia had sent 2 men's teams, but other countries such as Scotland, England, South Africa had 1 men's team and 1 ladies' team. Glenn was inspired to change things in Australia to have a representative ladies' team. When I began, there were 2 or 3 other women competing. One of them is Marion, who's outside, who was also as involved in one of our international ladies' teams. But since that time, over the course of the next few years, the numbers have grown enormously. Peter and I ran a couple of Real Girl workshop weekends with the help of other well-credentialed instructors like Tom Jarman and Glenn Eggleton, with the aim to educate and inspire more women to take up competition fishing. Through these and other channels, we now have 14 or more female members of Fly Fish Australia, with some competitions seeing as many as 20% of the competitors being female. In 2020, our first female team represented Australia in the Commonwealth Championships in New Zealand. Since that time, FIPSMOOSH, the world body for competition fishing, made a decision to hold the inaugural World Ladies Fly Fishing Championships in Norway in 2022. There were 10 ladies teams from around the world, and Australia finished in 5th place overall. The second World Ladies Championship was in Canada in 2023, with Australia finishing in 4th place. And a few months ago, as Gus mentioned earlier, we represented Australia in the Czech Republic, and we finished in 3rd place, bringing home the bronze medal, which was a fantastic achievement for us. We were very excited. As female competition anglers, the inclusiveness, acceptance, support and encouragement we have had. Actually, I forgot to change the slide. There we are. As competition anglers, the inclusiveness, acceptance, support and encouragement we've had from our male counterparts has been exceptional and has helped to grow the participation of females. There has been positive growth in the numbers of female fly fishers in Australia over the past 15 years. We need to keep that momentum going. So where do we go from here? I see 6 key areas which affect women's participation. Some of these we can do something about, some we can't. Time. Women in general, I feel, are time poor. Fly fishing is not quite like having a game of netball or tennis or golf where you're only a few hours away from home. Fly fishing takes more like a full day. To learn to fly fish takes a lot of effort and dedication, time. Gaining the knowledge required to set yourself up with the right gear is enormous. And so all of these things amount to, someone who's time poor. It's not an easy thing to do. I also believe that there is a window of opportunity with women prior to having a family, and then again after the children have grown up and left home. So it's sort of very difficult for women to dedicate that time. Number 2 is awareness. We have to sell the idea, get the word out there about what an amazing pastime fly fishing is, the beautiful places it takes us to, the community it puts us in touch with, and the experiences we have on the water. We can help work with these through social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, print and film. I I'd like to take a moment just to show you a small clip which ran on ABC Landline News about women in fly fishing, which was reaching out to an audience outside regular fly fishing channels. Will that play? Or... Oh, there it is. Forget everything else. So if you've got a stressful job or something like that, it is consuming. So you're there and you're one at that time. Like, you have to be part of the moment. Fly fishing takes you to the most beautiful places. You're trying to outwit that trout, searching out where they are, working out the water where a fish is likely to be, and then trying to trick him to take your artificial fly. And moving on to number 3 is the environment. So female-friendly environment is so important to create environments where women can feel at ease and accepted by our many male fishers. It could be quite daunting for women to walk into a club meeting full of men. And I think to get around that, sometimes, we need to change this and make meetings a more inclusive experience. And maybe we should look more towards having social occasions, dinner nights, pizza nights, or meetings at local breweries, club film nights, or female-specific nights, just to make it a more inviting experience. There's a fly shop in Bozeman in Montana which runs annual Chickadeemayo nights, which celebrate women in fly fishing, offering educational clinics and phenomenal speakers, prizes, cocktail party, networking and more. So I guess approaching things from a different angle could be beneficial. Education, we can definitely help with this, running workshops and clinics to encourage and educate women about our sport. We can take inspiration from the US with their programs and women's groups aimed at increasing the ease with which women can get out on the water in a female-friendly environment. For example, there's Fly Fishers International have a Women's Connect group, Heather Hodson's United Women on the Fly. There are school holiday programs, youth camps, university fly fishing clubs. There's Stream Girls, a STEM program run by Colorado Trout Unlimited through Girl Guides, focusing on fishing through science, technology, engineering and math. The participants observe a stream, collect flow data, sample macroinvertebrates and fly tying and casting. Number 5, culture. In the US, there's a culture of fishing. Girls grow up hunting and fishing. Perhaps this contributes to the vast numbers of women in the States who fly fish. In the Czech Republic, fishing is also a culture. In the competition scene, children are competing as young as 14 or 15, often representing their countries in youth teams. The Czech ladies team, who incidentally won the 3 world championships, ladies world championships that there have been, all have been competing since their teenage years. In Australia, we have a fishing culture. I refer to Anna Clark's book, The Catch. Australia has a love affair with fishing. We just need to channel this love into fly fishing. And finally, to number 6, inspiration. I really believe it's up to each and every one of us to go home and to inspire and encourage and challenge our daughters, our granddaughters, our wives and partners to get out on the water and give fly fishing a try. We all know the rewards are great. Thank you.